ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for checking us out today. Cricket for American CFA, Nick here.
Gabe, the Crow Eater.
Once again, huh? We are here for our very first official R3 Wickets. Get that 3 in there. For our very first women's IPL match. We streamed the entire thing today. If you want to check it out, it's on our channel, obviously. And we are here to talk about the Supernovas and the Trailblazers. Now, as far as I know, these teams, they don't have official cities that they're named after. I think they just go to certain stadiums, and those are the teams they are. Still new. It's the third season in the IPL. This season had 3 regular season matches. This was the third one. And so I'm going to be talking about the Trailblazers. Gabe will be talking about the Supernovas. I was rooting for the Trailblazers today because Velocity was my team. And if the Trailblazers won, then the Supernovas were bounced out. They were winless. And Velocity went to the final. Did not happen. So it's Trailblazers, Supernovas. This was a preview for the championship that we'll get on Monday. So, Gabe, what are your initial thoughts on women's IPL cricket? Did it seem like, oh, man, this is a way different product? Oh, man, this is just garbage. Oh, man, what are we watching? Or was it a whole lot of fun?
I mean, honestly, bro, it came down to the last run, the last over. I mean, the thing could have been a super over. Oh, you guys love those super overs. Renil was calling for it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's definitely an exciting product. And, you know, it was funny because the minute I sat down, there was bad umpiring. So the first comment I made was, you know what? That should have been a wicket. In retrospect, it wasn't. But still, you know what I mean? You know, same thing. I'm always going to complain about the umpiring. And that's one of the 2 things that the sports have in common. Another thing is these ladies can play. Bro, they weren't hitting cheapies, all right? There was one I saw that was 79 meters. Crushed. That thing is going out. Another one like 84 meters or 82 meters. Gone. They even were saying that there was one girl, I want to say, let me double check. Her name is might it have been, Nick, you have a better memory than I do. Is it at the Patnu who played with the boys and pretended she was a boy and got on the team?
Oh, I do not remember who that was.
But I mean,
maybe
you can tell the talent, man. And these are seriously raking, bro. Seriously raking. We were just impressed with a lot of the players. And man, I mean, I just want to jump right into it. So what did I like? Of course, you guys know me. I love to root against Nick, so I'm going with the Supernovas, because that would have knocked his team out. You know what I mean? So, of course, went with the Supernovas. Yes, I'm evil. What did I like? 67. Hold that, cousin. 139 strike rate, 48 balls. I think that's who you. Let me remind me if that's her who they said made the men's or the youth. It would be like U19 or U19, U17 team when she was like 15 or something like that, and pretending she was a boy. Like, yo, she could rake, bro. Absolutely shit rake. It was impressive. Priya, 30 for 37. Again, not a great strike rate, but she did her job. They ended up getting there almost all the way to the end. And then you had Karu. Yep, 31 for 21, 106 strike rate.
Harmanpreet.
Okay, Harmanpreet. Yep, Karu, the captain. She brought herself right in after is it Priya? Yeah, Priya went out. And they were like, yeah, I'm putting myself in there. So I love to see that captaincy. I absolutely love to see that captaincy. And a lot of times, you know what I mean? That's what you need. You need a captain that's going to say, oh, I see the writing on the wall. Let me go to work. You know, who got the last wicket? She was so fired up. Let me check. 19.5 over.
Yadav,
I'm sorry?
Radha Yadav. I said, Yadav, is she related to SKY? Because, bro, fiery. I mean, I loved it. I love the intensity.
huge wickets there at the end because it came down. Man, it wasn't looking good. I thought they were going to give it up. I thought they were going to get it up, but she said, nope, not on my watch, cousin. And when they got that huge wicket, and that's pressure, man, because, you know, you give up a boundary, this game is over. You know what I'm saying? You give up a 6, this game is really over. So good on her. Man, her numbers, let me double check. Was it 4 overs, 30 runs, 2 wickets? Love it. Man, I was, again, overall really impressed with this team. Nick, what did you like?
Yeah, to piggyback on that, Yada is a beast. I saw her in the other match I was watching with Velocity. We didn't stream that one, but I was just watching it. And they were talking a whole lot about her. And she was impressive then. She was impressive here. And you can hear me on the stream like, oh, not Yada in the final over. Great. Because it was looking pretty good. They needed, 9 off of 6. And it was looking pretty good. As far as the Trailblazers, there was a lot to like once again. But the problem, and I think it's a difference in this match, is with as much as there was to like, there was always like a negative thing that went with it. There wasn't like one outstanding performance, if you will. For example, Deep D, right? She went deep a few times with her 5 boundaries. She didn't get any 6s, but she got 5 boundaries, 43 runs, 40 balls, 100 plus strike rate. But on the bowling side, she's an all-rounder. She gave up 25 and 2. So, I mean, that didn't really work out for us too well. Let me just double check here. Yeah, 25 off 2 overs, 12.5 on the economy rate, highest economy rate for her squad. So you have good and then you have the bad. And I'm not going through my dislikes. These are the things that I like. Shmurti, right? Shmriti. I said that wrong. She was great. 33 runs. She stayed in there for a while, but it was off 40 balls, a lower strike rate. And when you're chasing a 140 plus score, you want to have that strike rate higher. And we can see at the end as they were chasing, they could have used a few more runs on some of those balls. But give the credit to the bowling for the Supernovas. Doughton, right? Doughton, she was a beast. She got her 1-6. She got her 4 4s on the batting side, but on the fielding side, 2 drops. One amazing save, one almost amazing save, but 2 drops, and one was just it was right there. I mean, it was right there in the breadbasket. So I mean, a lot of good with the bad, and unfortunately, that spelled a loss for the Trailblazers. Now, this is something that's interesting to think about with this match. If the Trailblazers don't have those drops, if they don't have those low strike rates, if they don't have those poor bowling spells, I mean, we're talking about a match that's pretty much easy in their hands, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about them overpowering the Supernovas, who are the 2-time defending champs in the first 2 seasons. So the Trailblazers, things are looking good for them, but it didn't work good for my Velocity. Thank you very much. But you had a lot of great cricket, and then Harleen Diol, she was all good. She was all good. She got herself 27 runs off 15 balls. She had 3 4s, and she came in near the end when they really needed to amp up the score. She did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, I know what she was doing. She was trying to get that boundary at least over the person's head, at least over the head. It wasn't knocked hard enough or high enough, and they got the woman on the opposing side. I'm not sure. Oh, I got the name right here. Anuja was able to catch it, and then she just threw it really hard in her celebration. Unfortunately for her, that could have potentially been the game winner. So a lot of things to like on the Supernova side too. I thought the captain, she really held her own and she really came in. I had no idea till I'm looking at it right now that Shmriti was the captain. She's so young, 24, so good on her. She's going to be going places, but I really think that Harmanpreet out-captained her, not just because of her higher strike rate. That definitely helps. I just saw her a little more lively out there, a little more Kohli-like without being so aggressive, if that makes sense. Gabe, what'd you dislike?
Well, I'm gonna just piggyback real quick on what I dislike, kind of about one person you talked about. So West Indies, right? You know what I mean? I'm from the Caribbean. My girl Doughton, raking 180 strike rate, right? 27 runs, 15 balls. So you're like, oh man, a couple great, amazing catches. But what's the only thing you're gonna remember from this game? Like you said, the drops. Because if you win the game, then those drops don't matter. But I've been in the locker room. I know how coaching is. When you lose, you're finding reasons, why did we lose? And you know what, coaches? You can do 100 things right. But if we lose the game, they're going to circle everything you did wrong. And she had 2 huge drops. The ball kept chasing her around. So I know, again, I'm supposed to be focusing on the Supernova side, but because I'm a West Indies fan and I want to see my West Indies players do well, Doughton, great job with the bat, poor job with the with the hands, right? I want to say glove like in baseball, but not great fielding, and that hurts your team. You know, with that being said, though, you saw the talent, man. She almost made that amazing catch when she jumped out there. You saw the hops. Super, super talented. Super, super talented. What did I not like? Now, here it goes. Here it goes. What did I not like? With the Supernovas, here's the thing. Maybe it's just the cordial nature of the game. But I'm gonna talk about this later on when Sophie Ecclestone knocked down. Who was it? She knocked down twice. I want to say it was Rodriguez. I want to say it was Rodriguez because then she got out on the very next ball. I'm like, yo, what is going on? But even Sophie, like, you know, I would have been complaining to the umpire. I would have been saying something like, you want to have that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're fighting and scratching for every single run. This game came way too close. Maybe that's just not the nature of cricket. I don't even want to say women's cricket because even in men's cricket, sometimes you feel like these guys are like, maybe it's this new generation.
It's very well behaved.
Maybe it's just new generation because I've even seen it, you know, in the NBA not too long ago. LeBron James is trading jerseys with somebody else after a playoff game. Bro, after playoff game with the Knicks, you were walking in getting patched up, cousin, because you leaking and we leaking because that's a real, I don't know. Does it sound weird that I don't want as much camaraderie between the players because they should be enemies? They should hate the other players as much as I do, but it doesn't feel that way, does it? I don't know.
They're not going to war. They are their opponents. But what do you? I mean, you talk about being a coach for a long time. Do you not teach your kids, your athletes, to have sportsmanship? Do you not teach them to, you know, take the high road? And if it's not something that's really an issue, like I think it was an issue. She got bumped a few times. It happens. So I personally don't think it was intentional. I mean, okay. I know you don't agree with that. I don't think it was intentional, but you gotta take the higher road. Okay. I'm not saying you just sit there and keep turning to different cheeks and different cheeks and different cheeks as many times as possible. You got to fight for your team. But at the end of the day, the last thing I want to see is them like laughing and hugging and going all crazy. Right. But at the end of the day, it's a game, okay? And if you want to question their intent, if you want to say like, you know, they didn't go so hard because they didn't want to hurt their friends' feeling, that's a different thing. But that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
All right, and I mean, here's another example, right? Here's another example. In that very last over, I was not rooting on somebody getting hurt. Let me clarify. But did I say throw a bouncer up there? Yes.
You said hitter.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Wear it, cousin. You know what I'm saying? Why is it all okay for us to say wear it with the dudes, right? Like, oh, Archer, that's why he's so nasty. I wouldn't want to stand in there again. Everybody knows, but it's not okay with the women's game. We got
intimidation by something that's going to, you know, come close is a lot different than saying hit her. Hit the player. Doesn't have to be a her. Hit the player. That's a whole lot different. I don't care if it's the women's game or the men's game. That's not part of cricket. Sorry.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Why was it with Archer, remember, with Archer, when he hit everybody, that's part of the game. When he hit Steve Smith in the Ashes, that's part of the game.
Bouncers are part of the game. But if Archer was to go out and say, yeah, I was told to go in there and hit him right in the melon, and I did it twice, so I did my job twice, in my opinion, I wouldn't like that at all. That would be a big problem. Now, he can throw the bouncer, and if it happens to hit the person, then that's a different situation. That's part of cricket. But when the person says, I'm intentionally trying to hit that head.
Well, okay, and maybe not the head. Not that I'm rooting for the head. We've seen Archer throw those bounces that bounce up and hit people in the McNuggets, okay? And those even, I'd rather take it in the head.
Our tree trunks, get out of the way.
I'd rather take it in the head than the McNuggets. I'm just saying. Don't want to take it in the McNuggets. But you know what I mean, dude? Like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, Yadav, light her up. All right, throw a bouncer, throw something nasty. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm always going to be competitive no matter what. And I just did not see that between getting bumped, they didn't seem to mind. And I'm like, okay. Then at the end, they're raking on you, and you're not even throwing it. I saw one Yorker, which was really good, but I didn't see not one bouncer, not one message where it's like, yo, watch out, cousin. I got this in my back pocket. You know what I mean? That intimidation factor. So that's just me. That was my only complaint because obviously they won the game. Nick, what did you dislike?
There's not really a whole lot glaringly that I disliked. I definitely did not like the wicket keepers, 2 balls they went up there. Got a boundary in the first ball. That's great. 200 strike rate. Good for you. But then you get bowled out on the very next ball. Selman was dealing that over. That was the second wicket for that over for her. I did not like that at all. I did not like that approach. It happens. It's better than a duck, obviously. It's better than going over 4. But I did not like that because they're trying to chase. They're trying to chase the Supernovas, and they need to score quite a few runs. And you just had Doughton go out by that same Selman. You needed to last a little bit longer. And then there was a lot of swings and misses in this match. A whole lot of swings. Stop it. Stop. You can't force me to say what you want me to say. You already mentioned the drops. What? You already stole my thunder on that one, brother.
I want you to rant about it more.
No, I don't rant about it more as much as you do. I'm talking about the swings and misses. You started off in the power play pretty strong. I think it was like 20 in the first 3 or something like that. And then it just went completely cold for the next 2 overs. Then they picked it up a little in the 5th or 6th over. There was a lot of swings and misses. There was a lot of takes or something like that. It didn't seem like there was a lot of aggressive bat. And I'm not saying protecting the stumps. It just seemed like it was a lackluster performance. And that was the biggest thing that I disliked. The other Supernovas get 146. Now, one good thing about it, a different Goswami game, right? She went 4 for 17. I forgot to mention her with her 1 wicket. That was very, very impressive. But I look at the bowling side. I don't really see anything that's too glaring besides Harleen Diol, but she still got herself a wicket. I feel like where they lost, obviously the drops. Obviously, I hated the drops. But I've actually seen highlight videos. YouTube just feeds me the stuff sometimes of Doughton. This girl's an all-class player. And so it was unfortunate that it happened to her. Very unfortunate.
Right.
And maybe I got a soft spot for my girl Renelle, and I know she loves herself some Doughton. But you already mentioned the drops. Those are horrendous. But when I see the look on Doughton's face, I look at a different approach. Does she feel bad or does she not care? She felt horrible. She felt horrible after every single one, and she was going all out, not to mention her raking early on. So, I mean, unfortunately, 2 for 1 person is unfortunate. And, yeah, it probably cost us the game. But do I feel like she's not going to put extra work before the final on Monday and she's not going to make sure that she gets her hands together? I do, because she seemed like she had it. So I'm not going to go off on her.
My problem was that the second drop was the same thing, bro. Same technique. High point the ball. You do not grab the ball. And it's obviously something that's taught, man. You know what I mean?
Fair, I don't believe there was a high point option there because she's running towards it. Now, maybe she could have picked up her speed. I don't know. I can't speak to how fast she is. But she's running towards it, and the ball's coming. She's moving as it's coming, and she does one of these. Yes, it's not the best technique. You want to go like one of these, but I don't think there was the option to high point it unless she wants to dive and high point it like that. What she needed to do was have the concentration on the ball. What my problem was, it seemed like she put her eyes off the ball, and in her mind, I got this. I've caught this 100 times in my sleep. I can get that. Took her concentration off. It's just like in the NFL or in college football where the receivers, it's a foot away. They take their eyes off the ball because they're worried about that hit, and they drop it. Hand-eye coordination. They don't call it hand-eye coordination for no reason, right?
Agree.
So that was my problem with that. With the other one, she made an effort, and it didn't go her way. I didn't have a huge problem with that. It sucked. But with the second one, losing that concentration and kind of, it did seem kind of hot doggy. Maybe she did kind of pull up at the end where she could have gone full speed and I pointed it. I'm not sure.
Was it Smarty that almost had a drop too? Same thing. She was waiting on it. This was a sitter, and they catch it down here, and it almost bounced off her stomach, remember? And everybody was like, oh, that was almost a drop. I'm telling you, it's a technique they teach because that was a sitter. You're just waiting on that ball. Why not catch it out here instead of waiting it to come into your body? One thing they teach, you talk about NFL, because Trey's a receiver. Never catch the ball with your body. You catch it with your hands. Because if you let it get into your body, it's going to hit you up. And if it hits your pad, it's going to bounce out. And how many times haven't you seen that in the NFL? Where you figure it's an easy catch and it hits off their chest, as opposed to if they catch it with their hands, that they're not high pointing at that point. They're, but they're using hands to catch as opposed to using their body. I think that's my biggest issue with that. But
yeah, and I'm not a catching expert. I'm never going to say I am, but just from my, strategy to it, yes, you have the way you want to go about it, but sometimes in a situation you have that ball where you don't have the option to do that atypical type of catch. the atypical hands or whatever. Sometimes you have a weird ball and it sneaks up on you, or you and the quarterback aren't on the same page, and it's kind of over here where you got to maybe use part of your body, or they one-hand it sometimes. Sometimes that happens. I can't speak to the Smurdy catch, but I do remember one kind of going up and like, oh no. I want to say also, going back to Gosh, not to pick on this girl, but I want to say she had a few wicket-keeping gaffes as well that kind of led to it. Bottom line is both these teams are going to the final. Neither of these losses was detrimental to them. It's detrimental to Velocity, the team that I was rooting for. But there wasn't anything I hated. There was just a few things I disliked. Gabe, what did you learn?
I learned that I have a new nemesis. Her name is Sophie Ecclestone. Sophie Ecclestone! Oh my gosh. Listen, first of all, she's a giant. Great. I want to know how big this chick is, bro. Really, she was towering above other people. Maybe that's why it looks so bad, or so, because the player she knocked down was relatively small, maybe 5'5", 5'6", but she's got to be a 6-footer, bro. I'm telling you, look up how tall she is, and maybe that's why it looks so bad, because it's like, she was dwarfing the other player. You know what I mean? Like blah blah. Oh, it looks like when LeBron James is barreling through the. Nobody's stopping that freight train. You know what I mean? My new nemesis, okay? Now, she probably didn't do it on purpose, guys. She probably didn't do it on purpose. But in my eyes, I know as a coach, I'm like, well, they don't say anything. You just happen to get in the batter's way. You happen to get in the batter's way. That's how I saw it. I know no one else saw it that way. But Sophie Ecclestone, she's not going to get the Campbell treatment, not even the Jordan treatment, but you're on notice. You're on notice. Oh,
run and hide, Ecclestone. Run and hide is not worth it.
Oh man, I'm gonna look it up while you're talking about, because she's huge. She dwarfed the other players. Like, yo, what is going on? Massive. But that's what I learned. I have a new nemesis, and the fact that umpires are bad in both leagues.
Gabe, Nick, I know you're not trying to date this girl. I know you're happily married, but let me give you a tip with all women. No one wants to be called massive. Just want to say, okay?
I'm just saying, she's huge.
I learned that Gabe was a dirty coach. There's a part of the Mighty Ducks movie where he knows his team sucks, so he's teaching them to cheat. He's teaching them to fake injuries and this and that, and then take the advantage. Wow. Coach Bombay is in the house.
Coach Bombay, wow. First and foremost, Nick. Wow. She's a baby, bro. Sophie, she's from the UK, United Kingdom. Uh-oh. Now I can't go. See, me and you both can have the Brahmi army behind us. I'm not allowed in England either. She's only 21 years old. How tall is she? I'm trying to see how tall she is, because she just seemed big compared to everybody else, bro. I can't find it.
Well, while you're looking, because it might take you forever, what did I learn about this match? What did I learn about women's cricket, women's IPL? I learned that, going into the IPL men's season and then going into this, I didn't feel like the product was too different. The boundaries were put in. There was women playing and not men. There was very less established teams, a very new league. But the cricket itself, I saw a whole lot of similarities. We've seen drop catches in the men's game. We've seen sixes. We've seen boundaries. But even the finer points, we saw good fielding placement. We saw boundaries. You need them, and you couldn't do it with my girl. Not really my girl, because she was killing me. But Anuja Patil, when she got that catch, captain placed her perfectly. We saw captains getting involved. We saw, everything that I've seen in the IPL, I saw it in here. And for me, that was very encouraging. I have seen sports, whether it's men and women, whether it's, young kids and older kids, whatever it is, you can go from one league to the next and say, oh, yeah, there's a vast difference. This is just poor. This is pathetic. But not in this. And I put it up there with the WNBA, which I think is a very competitive league with a whole lot of athletes that are women. I was really impressed with that. I learned that I can sit here, enjoy it 100%. And that's not me saying that I expect it to be bad just because it's women, but I think that stigma is out there. So anyone that's watching this that has not seen a women's cricket game, I'm telling you, I watched the entire thing and it was cricket. It was competitive. It was exciting, and it had nothing to do with the fact that there weren't men or they were women. It was just really good cricket. That's what I learned.
First of all, I also learned she's a 6-footer. She's a 6-footer. I told you, she looked massive. She was huge. You know what I mean?
It sounded like she was Goliath, 8 feet or 10 feet tall.
I did. I think in the stream,
25 hands.
8'6". You know what I mean? But the player she knocked out was super short. Okay, 5'3", by the way. 5'3", 6 foot. That's a big difference. But with that being said, I learned she's super young. All right, she's from the UK, so apparently now I'm not allowed in certain places, just like you. Nick and I are banned from what do you call it?
Just about everywhere.
Well, probably a lot of places we're banned from, but the famous landmarks out there, you know what I mean? Like
I'm not banned from Old Trafford. That's my spot right there.
Yeah, that's the only place that you're allowed in England, Old Trafford. But Buckingham Palace, not gonna happen. All right,
what did I do to the
Queen, bro? The Queen loves cricket. Everyone loves cricket. All right, they know what you said about Joe Root. They have
Queen went no difference between fine leg and third man. Okay.
You know what I mean? We there's just certain places we can't go now. So if I do end up going to England, I got to go with the glasses, incognito, the hoodie, kind of hidden.
You got to go with a really good fake beard because no one expected you can grow one of those. So that'd be perfect.
Wow, I don't even drive by, bro. Wow, you know what? That hurt. That in here.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for checking this out. We hope you enjoyed this installment of our 3 Wickets. And check out some women's cricket if you haven't done so yet. I was so proud to see people in the stream today, in the chat, saying, hey, this is my first match ever watching it. That was awesome. Let's watch some more of it. The championship's on Monday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
That's a sixer.